I had a closing this past week and I learned a couple of valuable lessons from the closing with this particular seller. And the seller had talked to several agents, interviewed them, if you will, about listing their home, and they felt most comfortable with me. They felt like I had the best marketing plan to help get their home sold for the price that they wanted to get it sold for. The kind of property it was, I told them more than likely your buyer's going to be somebody from out of state. So don't anticipate having a lot of showings the first weekend we're on the market. Second weekend is probably when we're going to see the majority of the showings coming in. And lo and behold, we actually had two showings the very first weekend we were on the market. Got a full price offer on the house, went under contract. The process moved forward, got through the inspection, got through the appraisal, and last Friday we got our closing statement from the title company. And the spouse, the wife, emails me Friday and kind of just blasted me in this email and wanted to know why I didn't negotiate the closing costs for them. Wasn't that what a realtor's supposed to do? And that she just felt like I had not really communicated with them through this whole process. And she is obviously upset at this. When I read it, I was shocked. My feelings were hurt a little bit. I'm not going to lie to you. But I stopped to think of things from her perspective. And so there were numerous times that her husband had called me, had texted me, and we had had conversations. Now, should I have answered in a group text? Looking back, I probably should have, but I was keeping him updated. He would text me, I was updating him, letting him know kind of where we were at, answering questions that he had. And I guess in my mind, he's communicating with his wife about all this. And that was my fault. I should have never just assumed that communication was taking place. I should have updated both of them. And so when I was looking at the closing statement, I'm like, okay, so what is she talking about? There was a different kind of a situation on this particular deal. And the lender, their mortgage company that they currently had, ended up having to keep all the proceeds from the sale, not just to pay off their mortgage, but he owned his own business. And they had a loan that was like a lien against the house that could be transferred to their new home. But as a security for that, the lender was going to hold their proceeds from the sale. So on the closing statement, you have all these things line itemed out, and it showed they were getting $0 at closing. And so in my mind, I'm like, I think that that's what has upset her, is she can't believe they're not making money on this sale. My guess is the husband failed to talk to her about that payoff situation with the bank. And it's not my job to throw somebody under the bus, you know what I'm saying? Especially a husband and wife team. That's not going to be the best approach. So I responded to her within about 10 or 15 minutes. I thought about it. I thought, okay, how's the best way to approach this for her? And I replied, but I included the husband in my reply. She had not included him in the email chain, but I included him in my reply. I apologized that she was upset, that she felt like I had not communicated. I did tell her the buyer had said they were paying their own closing costs. So there really was no negotiation that needed to be done in regards to that. And I said there is a credit to the buyer on the closing statement, but that was in lieu of repairs. So when they had come up with a repair proposal, the seller said, I don't have the time or the energy to do that right now. I'm trying to get moved. Just offer them this amount. So that's what we had done. I let her know. I've had several phone calls and text conversations with your husband. I should have included you in my response to him. I apologize that I did not do that. I said I did have a conversation with him recently about how, due to his small business loan, that your mortgage company was going to hold all the proceeds until you had secured your purchase where you're moving, and then they will release those to you once they can secure their lien against that property. So I'm guessing that once the two of them got the email that I replied, the husband realized he had not shared that information with his wife, and she emailed me back very apologetic. I'm sorry I came across so harsh. I was unaware of some of the conversations you've had with him. You could tell she was a little put out with him at that point. I did learn some lessons from this though, because even though I really wasn't at fault in the situation, it didn't boil down to if I was at fault or not. It's all about how somebody feels and how their perspective of the situation is. So, my lesson learned is that I need to communicate with both parties at all times. So, if one party texts or emails me, I need to make sure my reply goes to both parties in the transaction. That way, I can't be guilty of the miscommunication there. If we have a phone conversation and it's just the one party, we're not on a speakerphone with everybody listening in, I need to email both parties and just kind of recap what we talked about on the phone to keep them informed. I found out that I think the best way to approach this in the future is just have an update with my sellers through the closing process once a week. Whether anything's happened or not that week, I just need to pick up the phone or send out a group text and say, hey, just wanted to let you know things are moving forward. Nothing's really happened this week as far as the appraisal hadn't come in yet, or we're still waiting on the clear to close. But I just wanted to update you and let you know where we're at. So those are a couple of lessons that I took from that, because I feel as a real estate agent, we always have to be learning and we always have to be trying to improve the way we handle our customers, the way we handle our transactions.